Let's play two truths and a lie. Water is wet. I'm an NFL quarterback. And Hugh Freeze press conference yesterday was weird.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Happy Charlie Tuesday to all who celebrate. Auburn message board legend, the Kyle Rush, also known as Charlie 5. He hosts the Top Button podcast, and he is the man over at thebarnauburn.com. I want to talk about Auburn versus Arkansas later, as well as maybe some big picture takeaways from Hugh Freeze's presser and some of the messaging that he's had. Some of it consistent, some of it slightly changing, but Kyle, like, the whole thing felt a little odd, right? And maybe we're looking at this a little bit different because it certainly feels like his time as Auburn's head coach appears to be limited unless, things change, which is what we all want. We all want Auburn to win football games. But the whole thing felt a little odd. I mean, it even started that way before it even got going because there's a podium up there instead of the normal table and chair that he sits at. And I love that all the reporters that were in attendance were taking a picture of that and tweeting it out. And it's like, do with this what you will. Probably means nothing. But I mean, everything just felt a little odd about it. Like with how he kind of sent two different messages with the quarterbacks. He was asked about his job security. That's always a little weird. Some people have interpreted that answer differently. But like, do you think I'm off by saying the whole thing felt just a little strange on Monday?
Strange. I don't know if I'd go strange, but it definitely felt different.
Okay.
It definitely felt different. It felt like there was some realization that there was some issues. There's obviously, let me rephrase that. I think he understands there's issues, but it's like the first time to where maybe it seems dire. And he reacted accordingly. Like, to me, saying, I don't know if you're going to get to this, but saying the phrase, "I'd like the chance to fix it," does not sound very convincing of someone who feels safe or confident. I mean, maybe confident, but if I were confident and I didn't think I was in trouble, I think I would say something like, "I know it's bad and I plan to fix it. And I'm going to get that done. Even if it doesn't seem like it's getting done on the field, it's going to get done." That to me would have been a more confident answer of someone who feels safe, I guess. I don't know. It definitely felt different.
I agree with you. I definitely feel like he knows his job's on the line, which a week ago, I don't know if I really would have said that because the messaging has been so much about like, well, we're close against really good teams. And they lost to another really good team, really solid team. No, I'll say Missouri's really good. They're a pretty good team. And I don't like that he came out in his opening statement and was like, "Hey, yeah, we can't let this linger." And then he kept talking about, and then he lingered on it a little bit by saying, well, the last four opponents are combined like 25-3, and we're so close. We're so close. It's like, I just don't know if that's it. But you're right. The inconsistencies and confidence, I do think, were a thing. Like you brought up a great example of, you'd like the chance to fix it instead of just saying, "I know we can fix it. I know we're the staff." But then he's asked about play calling, like how much of an issue is play calling. And of course he thinks the play calling is fine, which is, it goes back to that confidence, but also is like that's stuff that we've heard before.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then I think he said something about third down passing where it was like,
yes,
we're going to go more short and let the receivers get the ball and make a play after it versus dropping way back and making a decision because Jackson struggled with that.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that I think was strange about it. If you want to say different, that's fine too. But everything he says about Jackson screams like we don't have faith and know he can't get it done. And then he's like, well, we're going to let him and Ashton get plenty of reps this week. And then somebody else asked a follow-up question about, Like, all right, are we assuming Jackson's starting, or is it whoever performs best this week? And he's like, no, well, Jackson's opened up the game good the last 2 weeks. So
let me ask you this.
We'd expect him to start. It was just weird back and forth on that. Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
Let me ask you this, and I want to see if you heard this. It's hard to hear when I do the live stream for a game. It's hard to hear the commentary on the TV because I don't want it to play through the audio.
Yeah, sure.
Said that at some point in the game, early in the game, Cole Kubelik, who was the sideline guy, said something to the tune of Hugh mentioned that Jackson was on a short leash, but he couldn't tell Jackson that because he doesn't deal with stuff like that. Well, did you hear that? Did you hear him say something similar? I may have butchered what the actual line was.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear anything even similar to that, but the first part of the game, I was kind of limited with watching it in a crowd. So I wasn't able to hear the broadcast. I was able to see it. But also, like, if I remember correctly, like, Cole's kind of who got the story and the narrative going about Hugh going to DJ Dirk and saying, like, hey, take it easy on Jackson. So that's the same guy. Like, those narratives connect.
They
right?
do connect. Yeah. And if that's the case, like, it's the same story over and over again. Like, I know that, and maybe we can talk about the whole red shirt deal. It just feels like, man, you are battling. You miss on an evaluation again, which is, it is what it is. And you're trying so hard to make it work with what you're limited at having. And all the issues that you say you're having kind of seem to point back to Jackson. And I think two things can be true at once. There can be an issue with development and clearly an issue with evaluation. But when I was told that, I'm like, my gracious, at some point in time, we got to pull the dang plug. Like, we can't keep tiptoeing around this.
Tiptoeing around a quarterback's confidence. I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah. I haven't either. Like, it's just, I don't think it's helping, but honestly, he feel like he has an option. Like, Jackson may not be the kind of guy that you can coach a particular way. But that's who you have now. You know what I mean? So it's like, to try to get the best out of Jackson, I have to do it a different way. And you remember Hugh also mentioned something about taking personality tests and learning how you got to coach somebody different. Like, I wonder if that's playing some into this as well. And it's hindering things.
Yeah. Last year we were all over Peyton Thorne, and it's like, how has he not pulled him yet? And then he pulls them, and it's like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
And is the same thing happening here? Is this more about Ashton and the red shirt situation? We talked about the depth of the quarterback room. Let's jump into that in just a moment.
Yeah,
right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. There's so many different places that you can have money stored right now, Kyle. There's a lot. It's all over the place.
All over the place.
Not with Monarch Money. And brings it all in one easy-to-use dashboard. Do you want your money to slip through the cracks, Kyle? Yes or no?
Hate that. No slippage.
You hate it. Yeah. Monarch Money is great. That's why I started using Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or, of course, on your phone. So it doesn't matter, where the financial account is. It can bring it all together. I also love the budgeting aspect of it too. It's a very versatile app. You don't need multiple financial apps anymore. You just need one, and that is Monarch Money. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONCollege. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. As we record this, Auburn, a 1.5-point favorite on the road in Fayetteville against the Arkansas Razorbacks. We'll discuss more about our thoughts on that matchup. I've said it a few times. I don't love the matchup for the Tigers because of what Taylon Green is doing for Arkansas. But right now, new customers can bet $5 to get $300 back in bonus bets, which you say that is a good ROI. Kyle.
You can't get any better.
You can't get any better than that. That's right. You pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you unlock $300 to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. It was brought to Hugh Freeze's attention that, hey, you said previously at Tiger Talk that there was discussion and a plan to redshirt Ashton Daniels so he could come back for another season. And he was like, is that still the plan? And he said, not anymore. We're focused on winning football games and doing what's best for the team. We're paraphrasing here, but that's the idea. Okay, if you think that gives Auburn the best chance to win, like, okay, if that limited the decision of possibly pulling Jackson because you wanted Ashton Daniels on the roster next year, I'm like, okay, not the greatest plan in my opinion, but like at least like, okay, there's a plan there. Do you think that's played into it? Because then he got pushed a little bit more about like, okay, well, is there a chance Ashton starts? And he's like, no, not really. So I don't really know. Once again, like the whole thing was just weird. It kind of felt contradictory in nature.
Well, look, let's talk about the reality. There's 5 games left, okay? And one of them you should probably be able to win if I played quarterback. Like there should be one that you should be able to just roll anybody out there, deuce whoever, and run all over them.
You're talking about Alabama, right? No, I'm joking.
No,
I'm joking.
Exactly.
I wish.
Exactly. So Ashton hasn't played a game yet. So in theory, now he could play 4 of the last 4 conference games, and he should still be able to redshirt. And I gotta imagine there's a part of that is played into the decision making about when and where to use a substitution. And also, I think it's this too. I think maybe the worst thing that could have happened, if you wanted to see a change, is Auburn scores on their first drive. You know what I mean? Like, and they've done that the last 2 weeks. And I think there may have been an opportunity in the last 2 weeks, had that not happened, that you may have seen Ashton. Because think about it. Your guy walks you down the field. Okay. Then the second drive, he comes out and throws a dime in Cam's hands and he drops it. So like, do you pull him? When do you pull him? Like,
right.
So you just kind of get in this weird scenario. Like, okay, do I pull him after the first 3 and out, or then do I hold the next guy to that same standard? I think the worst thing that could have happened if you want to see Ashton is that first touchdown drive. But you need that first drive if you're going to win. So I think there's a lot of factors. I think the red shirt definitely plays a factor, and then like when you actually do it, like when's the right time to sub a guy in. So I try to remember how that Georgia State game played out whenever they pulled Bo and put in TJ, because TJ didn't necessarily perform fantastic, but he did have the game-winning drive.
Incredible. It was probably the best drive of his career. I mean,
to win that game. But Bo was playing bad the whole game. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't a ton of positive regardless. So I don't know if that makes it tough. Regardless, I think it's going to be nearly impossible not to see Ashton the rest of the season. Like it feels like he's in some form or fashion he'll be playing.
Yeah,
feels that way.
I'm interested. You said, because I'm not feeling that as much as other people. Like I'm not feeling Hugh Freeze saying that. I think he's fine with Jackson is the impression that I'm getting. So it's like my brain and my eyeballs say like, let's just see. But also I'm thinking, is this a similar situation to last year where we're like, it can't be worse. And it's like, oh, maybe it can. I don't know, but I'm not picking up the same thing you are on that.
Here's the deal. I think that you try all the different things that you can try if you're feeling like I can out-coach the deficiencies, I can play call out of the deficiencies. There's been some success. There's been a lot of failure. If you can't play call yourself out of the deficiencies against Arkansas's defense, you're kind of at the end of your rope as far as exhausting all options with Jackson. I know we're going to talk about Arkansas in just a second, and that's the way it feels to me. Like he's becoming more honest about the situation with Jackson, and maybe that's can be considered throwing him under the bus. I don't know, but regardless, there seems to be an issue there, and Hugh's is not able to play call or game plan around it, and you've had to really dumb things down again. And I think if you dumb down things so much that you can't move the ball against the worst defense ever assembled in Arkansas, you have no choice but to see if you can find a spark somewhere else.
Yeah, Arkansas is just able to score so many points. Like it almost seems like there was this decision in the offseason when they said, "Hey, Jackson Arnold's our guy," and it's no secret Hugh Freeze led that charge. He wanted Jackson Arnold.
He did. Probably to the chagrin of maybe some even on his own staff.
Yeah, no, and I think that story's been told enough places, but he's the head coach, and it's like, cool, go get your guy.
Yeah,
and we talked about how there's similarities in like the career arcs of Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold, and it's like, man, what a great redemption story they could both have together. Their stories are going to be tied together because it's either going to work or it's not. And so far it has not worked.
Yeah.
And, Hugh is loyal. Like Hugh Freeze is such a loyal, like as just a human being. And so I'm wondering like if in the back of his mind, like, this is it. Like, I'm okay going down with the ship, but now the ship's starting to sink. And it's like, do I want the ship to sink? I can fix it, but like I got to change the person who's behind the wheel or the captain of the ship, whatever analogy or parallel you want to use here. And he's got the opportunity. I'm just not getting the vibe as much as other people are that he is willing to make that change.
Well, look, none of us want to ever admit we're wrong. Okay. Sure. And I think benching Jackson for Ashton is not as big of a positive as a lot, especially if Ashton were to look really good. It's not as much of a positive as most people may think it might be. To me, it's sort of I want to exhaust. If I'm Hugh and I don't want to be wrong, I want to try to exhaust all the options I possibly can before I make that switch, because I'm going to have to answer for that. Like, I got these guys to spend $1.5 million or whatever on this guy that I said was it, and then it didn't work out. So like, I got to answer to that too. So there's so many elements that go along to this. When you're talking about red shirt, you're talking about the money, you're talking about another missed evaluation, you're talking about development, like you're talking about a lot of things in the air right now. And it's just it's tricky. It would be tricky for anybody.
What do you think the biggest reason for wanting to redshirt Ashton Daniels is?
Because you don't have, like, that's a luxury. Like, you're going to have to go
backup. You think that's all it is?
Yeah, you an experienced backup.
Like, you don't think it's an insurance policy if Jackson leaves after this year to get a fresh start somewhere else, which I don't think anyone will blame him. He may be asked to do that. I don't know. And then what if Deuce Knight sees like, oh, well, this offense stinks, I'm going to get out of here. You don't think it's an insurance policy there?
But I mean, he could go somewhere else too. Like, Ashton could go somewhere else too. Like, I think it's just having an experienced backup. I think that's literally the only reason.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. Just asking.
I think they just really thought that Jackson was going to be the guy, and you weren't going to have to use Ashton.
No, all of the actions that they took screams how much they believed in Jackson.
Yeah.
From the social media push to him sitting next to Hugh Freeze in post game. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Not anymore. That's the right call by Auburn. Thank you for not putting Jackson in that situation anymore. That was messed up. How long that went on for. So I'm glad that happened. But as far as the game this weekend, it really feels like a potential turning point one way or the other. Let's jump into that in just a moment. Right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Can you imagine buying tickets anywhere other than with our friends at Game Time?
I can't. I won't.
Nope. I won't do it either. If you're making the trip to Arkansas, first off, hats off to you. Second off, you should buy your tickets at Game Time. I used Game Time to buy tickets for the Pats game this past weekend. It was fantastic. Super easy experience. Also, the Savannah Bananas are in town this weekend. Yeah, that's a hot ticket. I'm sure you can get them on Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport of Columbus. When I say Kia Sorento, what comes to mind?
Class,
excellence.
Yeah.
I love it. You can head over and get the last remaining of the new 2025 models, the Kia Sorentos, over at our friends at Kia Autosport Columbus, just off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, Georgia. All you got to do is say, "Hey, I heard about you guys on Locked On Auburn." They're going to say, "Cool. That's $500 off any new Kia right there. You're welcome. Also, you get tires for life with any new Kia purchase, so they take care of you. Go see them. Either visit their website at KiaAutosportColumbus.com or go see them off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Auburn heads to Arkansas in a game that feels like a line in the sand. I mean, you're talking about the worst defense in the SEC by a significant margin when you're talking about yardage, and I'm assuming points as well. And there's a few things that go into this. Some of it is they've played against good offenses in the SEC so far, sure, but I mean they're giving up yardage at will. And I mean, I hinted at this a few weeks ago, and my biggest fear is like we talk about how bad their defense is all week to the point where I'm not going to do it. But I think you're going to hear it a lot this week about how bad Arkansas's defense is. And then what happens if our offense looks the exact same? Like I wake up at 2:30 in the middle of the night thinking about that. I've been thinking about it for like 3 weeks, Kyle. I'm like, oh my goodness, what if our offense still looks bad against Arkansas? That's a concern that I have.
Well, the problem is it doesn't even necessarily have to look as bad as it has been. Like the problem with Arkansas, to me, is less about them shutting us down and then just, hey, if you stop us 3 or 4 times, and then they score on top of that because they're really good offensively. Like they stress me out offensively. Their quarterback stresses me out. Their Bobby Petrino calling plays stresses me out. So it's less about the fact
they can run it, they can pass it, they make you defend everything.
It's way less about them shutting us down versus getting into a shootout with them and needing a score. Needing to go score for score with them, which eventually that's going to happen. Like we're going to have to do that. That's what scares me. Like, you're not going to be able to hold them to under 20 points. I don't think. I think they're going to score at least 20 or 21 points. So can you score over 21 points in response? That to me is where it gets sketchy, because one sack, it could be one stop or 2 stops, and that could be the game. Like that could be the difference in the game.
Yeah. Somebody sent me this. Aiden sent me this on Instagram. And this doesn't include Missouri, but in the 3 games prior to that, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Georgia, 7 potential game-winning drives in 3 games, 26 total plays for -1 yards and -2 points because of the safety. And it's just, if it gets into a shootout and when there's like important drives in the 4th quarter, like I'm with you. You want a quarterback that gets excited to be in that situation. I don't think Jackson Arnold wants to be in that situation.
No, I don't either.
And that to me is kind of where we're at as an offense and as an identity and as a culture. And that's like, I don't think you can fix that right now.
No, not in a week's time. Like, I really don't think there's anything you can play call your way out of. Like with
no, unless you just want it to not be close in the 4th quarter, which I get.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still just have so many issues, and some of this is like unlucky. Like Cam dropping that touchdown pass is brutal.
Preston
and
Howard.
Alex, like he's never missed those kicks before, and now he's missing them.
Yeah,
that's
you make
unfortunate.
You make a good rollout and you throw a good pass to Preston Howard, and he drops it again. Like that, just Maybe that's not a bad luck as it is.
I don't know if that's as good of an example, but it is an example. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. So it's just, man, I agree. Some of it is bad luck, but like at some point in time, you got to change it. You got to create.
Yeah, no, you've had bad luck for 3 years. The 3 years you've been here. So.
Yeah. Create your own luck.
Create your own luck. That's right. That's right. And like, I loved Mike G's question at the end of the presser, like, how do you deal with like these receiver drops? And it's just like, yeah, we're going to go to the jug machine and keep catching.
I don't know what you do with receiver drops. Like,
I don't either, because I bet they're not doing it in practice all that often.
And I don't think that that's necessarily something that there's a magical drill to fix either. I think it's just like focus and, really that's it. It's just focusing on securing a catch. Like, and Perry did it where he turned his head too fast. Cam did it. And then obviously running down the field, which is usually his strength, he just dropped it. Like, it's crazy.
That would have been such a great moment too for everybody. And like, that would have been Cam's best game as an Auburn Tiger, assuming he had the rest of his stats. Would have been Jackson's best game in that moment. Like, it would have been a great win. But
yeah,
it just, they can't get it done.
Can't do it.
But we're close. We're close.
Cannot do it. Cannot do it.
So Auburn win on Saturday.
I mean, they're going to have to prove to me they can win. So I'm going to say no.
I think no. I'm at no as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think Auburn should be a slight favorite as far as, FanDuel odds. But if I had to pick right now, I think I would pick Arkansas.
Yeah. I think so too. I think I don't think it's
I think they're going to wear the defense out. I think the defense is going to be on the field all the time. I don't care how bad Arkansas's defense is. I don't think it's a skill thing. I think it's a scheme and an execution thing. And we're 3 years into this and they haven't figured out how to do it.
Yep. I think you were on to something a couple of years ago as far as defenses being able to manipulate. And I was listening to Lane Kiffin talk about how he felt like Oklahoma had our signs, and that may be a whole nother topic for a whole nother show. But I don't think they had our signs. I just think they knew they're good enough to know how to manipulate us into a decision. And then they know how to jump that decision. Like, if they manipulate us into throwing a slant, then they know to go jump that slant. Like, it's that. I think there is an element to that when the RPO is your whole offense versus the RPO is a package in your offense.
Yeah, no, you can make them pass it every down if you want them to. You can make them run it every down if you want them to. And right now they're saying, please pass it.
Yeah.
Please pass it. Make Jackson Arnold make as many decisions as possible.
Yeah. Which
is what you would do for any quarterback, but Jackson has not been as consistent as other quarterbacks, sadly. So,
yep.
Kyle Rush, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Absolutely. Go to thebarnauburn.com, subscribe today, go to our YouTube page, The Barn Auburn YouTube, and then part of the Barn Podcast Network. Sorry, anywhere you get a podcast.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We will see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.